Before we descend into this sealed mine, do me a favor. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and if you've ever been in a coal mine. And if this story makes you check what's in your basement, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real military encounters. Now let's break that 1896 seal. I am Corporal Michael Harper, West Virginia National Guard Disaster Response Team. I will share with you 2 days that taught me why some places have been closed for over a century, why some mines were abandoned not because they were empty, but because of what was inside them, and why my hometown holds secrets so deep that even coal companies no longer dare to dig. It happened in October 2023. My team, 12 National Guard soldiers, was assigned a training exercise in confined space disaster response. The kind of training that prepares you for cave-ins, building collapses, tunnel rescues. Real-world scenarios that could save lives. The location was an abandoned coal mine near Thurmond, West Virginia. If you know West Virginia history, you know Thurmond. Once a thriving coal town, thousands of residents, now a ghost town with maybe 5 people living there. The mine we were training in had been sealed in 1896. Over 127 years abandoned, but the main shafts were still structurally sound according to geological surveys. Perfect for training. What nobody mentioned was why it had been sealed in the first place. We arrived on a Monday morning. October weather in West Virginia is beautiful. Fall colors, crisp air, mountains covered in red and gold leaves. The mine entrance was about 3 miles outside what's left of Thurmond, up a dirt road that barely qualified as a road anymore. Nature had been reclaiming it for over a century. The entrance itself was impressive in a grim way. Massive timber frame, maybe 20 feet wide, 15 feet tall. And covering the entrance was a brick wall. Not boards, not a metal gate. Solid brick, mortared together, built to last. Built to keep something in or someone out. There was a metal plate embedded in the brick. Tarnished with age but still readable. It said, Thurmond Mine, Number 7. Sealed by order of State Mining Commission. October the 15th, 1896. Do not enter. Someone really didn't want people going in there, Private Chen observed. She was our youngest team member, 23, sharp as hell, engineering background. Standard procedure for abandoned mines back then, I explained. Seal them up, prevent accidents, prevent unauthorized salvage operations. This was probably sealed after it played out. No more coal worth extracting. I believed that at the time. I was wrong. Our team consisted of 12 soldiers. Me as team leader. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez, second in command. Staff Sergeant Jake Davis, our heavy equipment specialist. Then Chen, Private First Class Tommy Rodriguez, Specialist Kim Park, Corporal James Thompson, Private Marcus Wallace, Private First Class Diana Brooks, Specialist Carlos Santos, Corporal William Grant, and Private Jason Miller. Good soldiers, experienced, well-trained. 8 of them would be dead within 48 hours. We spent the morning setting up our equipment. Generators, lights, ventilation fans, communication systems, safety lines. The brick wall had to come down. That was part of the exercise. Controlled breaching of a sealed structure. We'd do it carefully, safely, document everything. Davis brought in the pneumatic tools. Started on the mortar between bricks. It was old, crumbling, came away easier than expected. Within 2 hours, we'd created an opening about 4 feet wide. That's when Chen noticed something. Sergeant, you need to see this. I moved closer. She was pointing at the inside face of the brick wall. The side that had been facing into the mine for 127 years. There were marks on it, deep gouges, parallel scratches, running vertically down the bricks, like something had been clawing at the wall from the inside. "What could make marks like that?" Rodriguez asked. I examined them closely. The scratches were deep. Whatever made them had been incredibly strong and persistent. There were hundreds of scratches, maybe thousands, covering the entire inside face of the brick wall. "Could be from mining equipment," Martinez suggested. "Maybe they sealed it with equipment still inside, and it shifted, scraped against the wall." But I knew that wasn't right. These weren't random scrapes. They were deliberate, methodical, like something had been trying to dig through, trying to get out. We document this, I decided. Photos, measurements. Then we continue with the exercise, but everyone stays alert. We don't know what caused this, and I don't like surprises. We photographed everything, measured the scratch patterns. They extended from about 3 feet off the ground to about 7 feet up. Whatever made them had significant reach. By early afternoon, we'd removed enough brick to create a 6-foot-wide entrance. Our lights cut into the darkness beyond. The main tunnel extended straight back, disappearing into black. The air that emerged was stale, dead. It smelled of rock and dust and something else, something organic, rot maybe, or something that had been sealed in darkness for over a century. "Ventilation check," Martinez ordered. Santos set up the air quality monitor. We waited. "Reading is good," Santos reported. "Oxygen levels acceptable, no methane, no carbon monoxide. Air's stale but breathable." "Then we go in," I said. "Standard formation. I'm on point. Chen, Rodriguez, you're with me. Martinez, you lead the second team. Everyone maintains radio contact. We map the first 100 yards, establish staging area, then proceed with the training scenarios." We entered the mine at 1400 hours. The tunnel was impressive. 12 feet wide, 10 feet high, rough-cut stone walls showing pickaxe marks from over a century ago. Support timbers every 10 feet. Old, but still solid. Rails on the floor where ore carts had once run. Everything covered in dust and debris. Our headlamps and flashlights illuminated maybe 30 feet ahead. Beyond that, absolute darkness. The kind of darkness that's more than just absence of light. The kind that feels solid. Heavy. Like it's been compressed by 127 years of no light, no air movement, no human presence. We moved slowly, carefully, checking the structural integrity, looking for hazards. Everything seemed stable. After 100 yards, we reached a wider chamber, an intersection where 3 tunnels met. Old equipment was still here, rusted ore carts, ancient tools, a collapsed desk with paperwork. "This must have been an operations center," Chen said, "where shift supervisors coordinated the mining." Martinez was examining the desk. The wood was rotted, but some papers were preserved under collapsed boards. She pulled out what looked like a logbook, pages brown with age, but still readable. "October 1896, she read aloud. "These are the last entries before the mine was sealed." I moved closer. The logbook entries were written in old-fashioned handwriting, difficult to read but decipherable. October 10th, 1896. "Deep shaft crew reports strange sounds from new excavation, like animals in the walls. Foreman attributes to water flow." October 11th, 1896. 3 men refuse to work deep shaft, claim something is down there, something not natural. Fired for cowardice. October 12th, 1896. Cave-in on level 7. Crew dug out, all survived. Found opening behind collapsed section. Passage descending to unknown depth. Exploration tomorrow. October 13th, 1896. Exploration team descended new passage. Found chamber beyond. Very old. not our excavation. Who dug it? Walls are smooth, not from picks or drills. October 14th, 1896. Emergency. 3 miners dead in new chamber. Bodies recovered. Condition disturbing. Company doctor refuses to comment. Sheriff investigating. October 15th, 1896. Final entry, different handwriting. Shaky. 9 more dead. It came up. Pale thing from deep chamber. 12 dead total. Ceiling mine. God help us. Tell families sorry. That's where the logbook ended. October 15th, 1896. The day the mine was sealed. The day 12 miners died from something the logs called it, and pale thing from deep chamber. This is dated the same day the mine was sealed, Martinez noted. Whatever happened, it happened fast. They sealed it immediately. Because of deaths? Rodriguez suggested. Maybe gas leak. Carbon monoxide can make people hallucinate, see things that aren't there. But Chen was looking at something else. She'd found a newspaper tucked between the logbook pages. Preserved, protected from moisture. The Thurmond Daily Register, October 16th, 1896. The headline read, Tragedy at Mine. Number 7. 12 dead in mysterious attack. Mine. Sealed by state order. She read the article aloud. Yesterday brought horror to our community as 12 miners perished in mine number 7. 7 under circumstances that defy explanation. Survivors report a pale creature emerging from a newly discovered deep chamber. Witnesses describe it as man-sized but moving unlike any man. Several miners were dragged into darkness and later found deceased. The State Mining Commission has ordered immediate and permanent closure of the mine. Sheriff's investigation is ongoing, but authorities seem eager to seal the incident along with the mine itself. There was more. Interviews with survivors. Descriptions of the creature. Pale as death. No eyes that we could see. Moved faster than anything natural. It was afraid of our lamps at first, then it wasn't. And at the bottom of the article, a quote from the state mining inspector. Whatever was encountered in that mine, it represents a danger that cannot be controlled. The mine will remain sealed indefinitely. We recommend other mining operations avoid excavating at such depths. We stood in that chamber, 127 years later, reading about people who'd encountered something they couldn't explain. Something that killed 12 miners. Something they'd sealed in the mine. Sealed with brick walls and official orders and desperate hope that it would never get out. So what do we do? Thompson asked. Continue the exercise? Or report this and withdraw? I should have said withdraw. Should have recognized the warning. Should have understood that the brick wall with claw marks on the inside, the logbook describing deaths, the newspaper article about a pale creature. All of it was screaming at us to leave, to seal the mine again, to let sleeping things lie. But I'm from West Virginia. Coal mining is in my blood. My grandfather was a miner. My father worked mine safety. I knew mine disasters. I knew gas leaks and cave-ins and equipment failures, and I knew that scared men in 1896 might see monsters where there were only shadows and fear and carbon monoxide hallucinations. We continue, I decided, but we modify the exercise. We do structural assessment only. We map the main tunnels. We look for evidence of what really happened, and we stay together. No solo exploration. No unnecessary risks. It was the wrong decision, but I made it with good intentions, with the confidence of modern equipment and medical knowledge and a rational worldview that didn't include monsters. We spent the afternoon mapping the main level. 3 major tunnels extending from the central chamber. North Tunnel ran about 500 yards before ending at a collapsed section. East Tunnel went 300 yards to a vertical shaft descending to lower levels. West Tunnel was the longest, over 1,000 yards into the mountain. We were setting up camp in the central chamber when Davis called out from the East Tunnel. "Sergeant, you need to see this." I found him at the vertical shaft. It was impressive, maybe 8 feet across, descending straight down with ladder rungs bolted into the rock face. Our lights couldn't reach the bottom. "That's the deep shaft mentioned in the log book," Davis said. "Where they found the chamber, where the thing came from." I dropped a chem light. Watched it fall. It kept falling, disappeared into darkness without hitting bottom. We never saw it land. "That's at least 500 feet, Chen calculated. Maybe deeper. That's way below standard mining depth for 1896. Why would they dig that deep?" "Maybe they didn't," I suggested. "The logbook said they found a passage, said the walls were smooth, not cut by picks. Maybe the vertical shaft is natural. Maybe they just discovered it. Or maybe something else dug it," Rodriguez said quietly. "From below." We all looked at him. He shrugged. "I'm just saying, if something lived down there, something old, maybe it came from even deeper. Maybe it dug its way up over thousands of years. And in 1896, the miners accidentally broke through the last barrier." "That's speculation," Martinez said. But she didn't sound convinced. We returned to the central chamber, made camp, set up generators and lights. The exercise had shifted from disaster response training to archaeological investigation. We'd document what we found, report it to state authorities, let experts decide what to do next. That night, our first night in the mine, we took shifts. 4 on watch, 8 sleeping. Standard protocol. Nothing in the safety regulations about watching for pale creatures from 1896, but we were uneasy enough to maintain security. I took second watch, midnight to 0400. The mine was quiet. Our generators hummed. Our lights created islands of yellow illumination in the absolute darkness. Beyond the light, nothing. Just black so complete it felt physical. At 0230 I heard something. Scratching, faint, coming from the East Tunnel, the one with the vertical shaft. I activated my radio. "All units, this is Harper. Anyone in the East Tunnel?" "Negative," came the replies. Everyone accounted for, all in the central chamber. The scratching continued, regular, rhythmic, like something climbing, like claws on rock. "Wake everyone," I ordered. "Weapons ready. Something's moving in the East Tunnel." We formed a defensive perimeter facing the East Tunnel entrance. Lights trained on the opening. Weapons ready. We carried sidearms for security, though I'd never imagined we'd need them. The scratching got louder, closer, and then it stopped. Silence. Complete silence. Even the generators seemed quiet. "Should we investigate?" Davis asked. Before I could answer, we heard it again. But not from the East Tunnel, from the North Tunnel, behind us. The scratching had moved, or there was more than one thing making the sound. We spun around, lights sweeping. The North Tunnel entrance was empty, nothing there. Then from the West Tunnel, same sound, scratching, getting closer. "It's surrounding us," Chen whispered. "Or there's more than one." "Lights," I ordered. "Maximum illumination. Light up all 3 tunnels." We positioned our portable floods, aimed them down each tunnel, brilliant white light pushing back the darkness, revealing empty stone passages. No movement, no creature, nothing, but the scratching continued. From all 3 tunnels now, getting closer, coming from the darkness beyond our lights. And then, just at the edge of our illumination in the East Tunnel, something moved. Fast. A pale blur. Gone before we could focus on it. "Did you see that?" Thompson demanded. We'd all seen it. Something moving, something pale. Something that disappeared the moment our lights hit it fully. "Whatever it is, it doesn't like the light," Martinez observed. "Everyone, maintain light discipline. Don't let any tunnel go dark." We stood like that for an hour. Weapons ready. Lights blazing. Hearing occasional scratching from the tunnels. Seeing occasional movement at the edge of our illumination. But nothing came closer. Nothing attacked. At 0400, when the sun rose outside, the sounds stopped. Whatever had been circling us in the darkness had retreated. "We need to leave," Grant said. What we were all thinking. "This isn't a training exercise anymore. There's something in this mine, something that's been here since 1896, maybe longer, and we're not equipped to deal with it." He was right. We should have left. Should have sealed the mine again. Should have reported what we'd found and let others decide what to do. But 8 hours of daylight changes your perspective. Makes you doubt what you heard in the darkness. Makes you think rationally about sounds that have rational explanations. One more day, I decided. We do a comprehensive survey. We document everything. We find evidence of what's really down here. Then we leave with concrete information instead of half-understood experiences. It was my second wrong decision, and this time it would cost 8 lives. Day 2 started with a decision that would kill 4 of my team by sunset. We gathered in the central chamber after a breakfast of MRES and bad coffee. Sunlight filtered in from the entrance 100 yards behind us, weak, distant, but psychologically important. Daylight meant safety, meant rationality, meant the scratching sounds from last night could be explained as settling rock or air movement or our own nerves. "Here's the plan," I announced. We split into 3 teams, 4 soldiers each. Team 1 with me explores the west tunnel. It's the longest, least examined. Team 2 with Martinez surveys the north tunnel to that collapse. Team 3 with Davis investigates the vertical shaft in the east tunnel. We map, we document, we look for evidence. We stay in radio contact, and we don't go anywhere without sufficient light. "What about the creature?" Miller asked. "The thing from the newspaper. The scratching we heard last night. If there's something alive in this mine after 127 years, I said, which is unlikely, then it's probably just a large animal. Bear, maybe. Mountain lion. Something that found a way in through cracks we haven't discovered yet. We're armed, we're prepared, and we stay together." I believed what I was saying. In daylight, with coffee and equipment and 12 armed soldiers, the idea of a pale creature from 1896 seemed absurd. Old miners had encountered something, probably a bear or escaped livestock, and in the darkness and panic, they'd created a monster. We were smarter, better equipped, better trained. My team for the West Tunnel was me, Chen, Rodriguez, and Grant. We moved out at 0800, following the rail tracks that extended deep into the mountain. Our lights illuminated rough-cut walls, support timbers, abandoned equipment, everything coated in over a century of dust. The West Tunnel descended gradually. Every 100 yards or so we'd find side passages branching off, smaller tunnels where miners had followed coal seams. We mapped each one, noting structural condition, depth, any hazards. At about 800 yards in, Chen found something interesting, a side passage that didn't match the others. Where the mining tunnels were rough and irregular, this passage was smooth. The walls had a different texture, less like they'd been cut with picks, and more like they'd been worn by water or something else. "This might be what the 1896 logbook mentioned," Chen suggested. "The passage they found behind a collapse, the one that led to the deep chamber." We followed it. The passage descended steeply. Our lights showed it extending maybe 60 feet before opening into a larger space. We moved carefully, testing each step, checking the walls for stability. The chamber at the end was maybe 40 feet across, dome-shaped ceiling disappearing into darkness above, and scattered across the floor were bones, human bones. "Jesus," Rodriguez whispered. There were maybe 20 skeletons, some complete, some scattered, all old. The bones were gray with age, clothing rotted to fragments, but among them were newer remains too, relatively newer, maybe decades old instead of a century. "These could be the 1896 miners," I said, examining one skeleton. "The 12 who died. They might have been left here when the mine was sealed." But Chen was looking at something else. She'd found another skeleton. This one was different. Larger. The proportions were wrong. The skull was elongated, the jaw hinged differently, and there were what looked like vestigial eye sockets, but sealed over. Bone covering where eyes should have been. "That's not human," she said. She was right. Whatever this skeleton belonged to, it wasn't entirely human. It was close. Bipedal, similar size, similar structure, but different enough to be disturbing, like nature had taken the basic human template and modified it for a specific environment. "Maybe it's deformed," Grant suggested. "Birth defect or disease." "Or adaptation," Chen replied. "If something lived underground for generations, for centuries, natural selection would favor traits that work in complete darkness. Loss of eyes, enhanced hearing, different bone structure for moving through tight spaces." My radio crackled. Martinez's voice. "Harper, we found something in the north tunnel. You need to see this." "Can it wait?" "We found remains here, human and something else." "No, Sergeant, this is important. We found more claw marks, fresh ones, and we found static, then contact, we have contact, something's—" The radio cut to noise. "Martinez, report, nothing, just static." "All teams, this is Harper, report status." Davis from the east tunnel. "We're hearing it too, Sergeant, something moving below us, in the vertical shaft, coming up." "Get away from that shaft, now. Rendezvous at central chamber. All teams, fall back to staging area." We ran, back through the smooth passage, into the main west tunnel, running toward the central chamber 1,000 yards away, our lights bouncing crazily, our boots hammering on stone. Behind us, from deep in the west tunnel, I heard the scratching. Fast, following us, getting closer. "Don't stop," I shouted. "Keep moving." We covered half the distance when Rodriguez stumbled. Went down hard. Grant and I grabbed him, pulled him up. Cost us maybe 5 seconds. But 5 seconds in that tunnel was everything. Because the scratching had caught up. I spun around, weapon drawn, flashlight sweeping, and I saw it, for just a moment, at the absolute edge of my light. Then it was gone, moved back into darkness faster than anything I'd ever seen. But that moment was enough. Enough to confirm that the newspaper article from 1896 hadn't been exaggeration, hadn't been panic or hallucination. It was pale, deathly pale. White skin that looked almost translucent. Humanoid shape, 2 arms, 2 legs, standing upright. But wrong. The proportions were elongated, the limbs too long. The fingers, I'd seen the fingers, reaching toward us, were tipped with dark claws, and where the face should be there was smooth skin. No eyes, no visible eyes, just smooth, pale flesh. The creature from 1896. Still alive, still here. And it had been sealed in this mine for 127 years. We reached the central chamber in under 10 minutes. Martinez's team was already there, all 4 of them, but they looked shaken. "What happened?" I demanded. "We saw it," Thompson gasped. "In the north tunnel. It came right at us. We fired. Hit it at least twice. It barely slowed. Then our lights, all our lights, went out simultaneously. Like something killed them, and in the darkness it was so fast, it almost got Wallace. We ran." Wallace's shoulder was bleeding. Long scratches, claw marks. "It can disable electronics," Martinez said. "Or it's learned where to strike to kill lights. Either way, when you're in darkness with that thing, you're dead." Davis's team came running from the east tunnel, all four present. But Miller was limping, left leg injured. "Shaft's active," Davis reported. "Something came up from below while we were surveying. Fast, aggressive. We threw our lights down the shaft. It retreated from the illumination. But the moment we pulled the lights back, it came up again. Miller got clipped trying to get away from the ladder." So all 12 of us were back in the central chamber, all alive. But we'd all encountered the creature, and we now knew several critical facts. It was real, it was fast, it was aggressive, and it retreated from direct light. "We leave," I decided, "now. We gather essential equipment and we exit immediately. This is beyond our mission parameters, beyond our capabilities. We report to state authorities and let them handle it." Everyone agreed. For about 30 seconds we had consensus. We were leaving. Then the generators died. All of them. Simultaneously. Our main lights went out. The chamber plunged into darkness. Complete, absolute darkness. For a moment there was silence. Then I heard it. All around us. The scratching. Not from one direction, from everywhere, from all 3 tunnels, from above, from below. The creature, or maybe there was more than one, was circling us. Using the darkness it had lived in for over a century, using its home advantage. "Flashlights," Martinez ordered. "Everyone, maximum illumination." 12 flashlights clicked on. Beams cutting through the dark. Sweeping the chamber, the tunnel entrances, looking for movement. I saw it in the east tunnel, pulling back from our lights, then in the north tunnel, another one, or the same one moving impossibly fast, then the west tunnel. "How many are there?" Chen asked. "I don't know," I admitted. "Could be one moving fast, could be multiple creatures." "The skeleton I found," Chen said. "The non-human one. Maybe that's what these are. Maybe humans trapped down here for generations evolved into this. Or maybe these are something else entirely. Something that was here before humans. A sound from above." We looked up. The chamber ceiling was maybe 30 feet high, and clinging to it, barely visible in our flashlight beams, was the creature. Upside down. Hands and feet somehow adhering to stone. Body impossibly positioned. That eyeless face pointed down at us. Davis fired. 3 shots, hit it twice. The creature made a sound, not quite human, not quite animal. A shriek that echoed through the chamber. Then it dropped, not fell, dropped deliberately. Controlled. Landed on its feet among us. Chaos, everyone firing, everyone shouting. The creature moved through us like smoke. Incredibly fast. Striking out with those clawed hands, Thompson went down, Santos went down. Then it grabbed Davis, grabbed him around the chest with arms that shouldn't be that strong, and it ran. Carried Davis into the east tunnel, into the darkness, moving so fast we couldn't track it. Davis was screaming, firing his weapon blindly. Then his screams cut off abruptly. Silence. "Davis!" Martinez was shouting. "Jake! Report!" Nothing. Just the echo of our voices in the empty chamber. "We can't stay here," Grant said. "It's picking us off. We need to move, need to get to the entrance." "Agreed," I said. Everyone form up. Tight formation. We move as one unit toward the entrance. Constant illumination. Don't let any position go dark. If someone's light fails, they stay in the center. We don't leave anyone behind. Davis is behind, Rodriguez pointed out. Davis is gone, Martinez said quietly. She was right. We'd heard him stop screaming. Whatever had taken him had done it quickly. 11 soldiers. We'd lost Davis. We'd been in the mine for less than 24 hours and we'd already lost one of our team. And we still had 100 yards to cover to reach the entrance. We moved out. Tight formation. Weapons ready. Lights sweeping constantly. Every shadow suspect. Every sound a potential threat. We'd covered maybe 30 yards when Thompson and Santos, who'd been knocked down during the attack, realized they couldn't keep up. Thompson's ribs were broken. Santos had a concussion. They were slowing the group. "Leave us," Thompson gasped. "Get help. Come back." "We're not leaving anyone," I insisted. But the decision was made for us. The creature hit us from a side passage we hadn't seen. A small opening, maybe 3 feet across. It came through fast, grabbed Santos, pulled him into that narrow space. He didn't even have time to scream. We fired into the opening, but Santos and the creature were already gone, disappeared into a warren of passages too small for us to follow. 10 soldiers. "Move faster," Martinez ordered. "We can't defend against this. It knows these tunnels. It's been living here for over a century, maybe longer. We're in its territory. We need to get out." We abandoned the heavy equipment, kept only weapons and lights, ran toward the entrance. 50 yards, 40, 30. Thompson was falling behind. His broken ribs made breathing difficult, made running impossible. "Go," he told us. "I'll be right behind, just slower." Thompson, no, but he'd already dropped back, creating distance between himself and the group, giving us a chance to escape while the creature focused on him. We heard him firing, heard him shouting, heard the creature's shriek, then silence. 9 soldiers left. We reached the entrance, burst out into sunlight, into safety, or we thought it was safety. Wallace was last through the entrance. As he crossed the threshold, something grabbed his ankle from the darkness inside, pulled him back. He grabbed the entrance frame, held on, screaming. We grabbed him, pulled against whatever had him, and for a moment I saw it. The creature, right at the edge of the sunlight, where the light ended and the mine darkness began. It was pulling Wallace. Its pale face turned up towards the sun, and I saw pain there, saw it flinch from the light, saw its skin blister where the sunlight touched it. It was photophobic. 127 years sealed in complete darkness had made it unable to tolerate light. The sunlight was hurting it, but it wasn't letting go of Wallace. We pulled harder. The creature pulled harder. Wallace was screaming, being torn apart between us. Then Martinez made a decision. She grabbed a floodlight, aimed it directly at the creature. Maximum illumination. The creature shrieked, released Wallace, retreated into the mine, disappeared into the safety of darkness. We pulled Wallace out, looked at his ankle. The creature's claws had gone deep, bone deep. He'd need a hospital, need surgery. But he was alive. 9 of us had made it out. Davis, Santos, Thompson, dead, gone. Taken by something that shouldn't exist, something that had been sealed in that mine since 1896. Something that had learned to hunt in absolute darkness. That had adapted, evolved, become something more terrible than the 1896 miners could have imagined. "We need to report this," Grant said. "Military, state authorities. Somebody needs to know what's in there." I looked back at the mine entrance, at the darkness inside, at the claw marks on the inside of the seal we'd broken, The seal that had kept that thing trapped for 127 years. Until we came along. Until we let it loose. And I realized we hadn't seen the worst yet. Because now it knew there was a way out. Now it knew that beyond the mine entrance was a world it had been sealed away from for over a century. And it was going to try to escape. We set up a defensive perimeter 50 yards from the mine entrance. 9 soldiers, 2 injured, all traumatized by what we'd seen in those tunnels, all trying to process the fact that 3 of our team were dead. Killed by something that shouldn't exist. I called it in immediately, satellite phone to National Guard Command, tried to explain what happened, tried to make them understand. Sir, we've encountered a hostile entity in the abandoned mine. 3 soldiers, KIA, 2 injured. We need immediate evacuation and containment protocols. What kind of hostile entity, Sergeant? Armed civilians? Escaped wildlife? Neither, sir. It's difficult to explain. There's a creature in the mine, something that's been sealed in there since 1896. Something that killed miners back then and just killed 3 of my soldiers. Silence on the other end. Then, Sergeant Harper, are you saying you encountered an animal? It's not an animal, sir. Or if it is, it's not one we have documentation for. It's humanoid, pale, eyeless, extremely fast and aggressive. And it's photophobic, can't tolerate direct light. More silence. I could hear the doubt in that silence. Could hear them thinking, exhaustion, stress, carbon monoxide exposure, mass hallucination. We're sending a helicopter for medical evacuation, the voice said carefully. ETA 2 hours. In the meantime, maintain position outside the mine. Do not re-enter. We'll send a full investigation team tomorrow. Sir, you don't understand. This thing is dangerous. It's killed 6 people we know of, 3 of mine and 3 from 1896. It needs to be contained. The mine needs to be resealed immediately. We'll assess the situation when our team arrives. Harper, are you experiencing any symptoms? Dizziness, confusion, visual disturbances? They thought we were compromised. Thought we'd been exposed to something in the mine that was making us see things. They weren't going to take this seriously until they saw it themselves. No, sir, we're clear-headed, but we need support. This creature is real, and it's going to try to escape. Maintain position. Helicopter inbound. Command out. The connection dropped. I looked at my remaining team. Martinez, Chen, Rodriguez, Grant, Wallace, Brooks, Park, and Miller. 9 of us. 3 dead in the mine, and a creature that had been sealed away for 127 years that now knew there was a way out. They didn't believe you, Martinez said. It wasn't a question. They think we're experiencing some kind of exposure event. They'll send medical evac, then investigators. But they're not going to move on containment until they have proof. We are the proof, Grant said. 3 dead soldiers, 2 injured. What more do they need? Visual confirmation. Evidence, something they can test and measure. Right now, all they have is our word that something impossible is in that mine. Wallace was sitting against a tree, his mangled ankle elevated. Chen had done what she could with field medicine, but he needed surgery, needed a hospital. Miller's leg injury was less severe but still painful. Both of them were effectively out of action if the creature came back. We need to assume it's going to try to escape, I said. It's been trapped for over a century, now the seal is broken. Now it knows there's an exit. When night falls and the sunlight isn't a barrier anymore, it's going to come out. Can it even survive outside? Rodriguez asked. It's adapted to complete darkness, to underground. Maybe the surface world would kill it. Or maybe it would adapt again, Chen replied. Evolution is about survival. If this thing survived 127 years sealed in a mine, it can survive anything. And if it gets out, if it reaches the forest, the caves, the old mining tunnels that riddle these mountains, we'll never find it. It'll be killing people for another century. She was right. West Virginia has thousands of miles of abandoned mine tunnels, hundreds of natural cave systems. If the creature escaped into that network, it would be impossible to track, impossible to contain. We set up lights, Martinez decided. Maximum illumination around the mine entrance. We create a barrier of light that it can't cross. We hold that position until the helicopter arrives and we can get Wallace and Miller evacuated. Then we maintain the light barrier until military support arrives with proper equipment. It was a good plan. It should have worked. We used every light we had. Portable floods, vehicle headlights. We had 2 trucks parked nearby. Flashlights, road flares. We created a semicircle of brilliant light facing the mine entrance. 50 yards of illuminated ground between us and that dark opening. The sun set at 1847 hours. The creature came out at 19:03. We saw it at the entrance first, just standing there in the darkness of the tunnel. That eyeless face pointed toward our lights, toward the open air beyond. "Hold position," I ordered. "It won't come into the light, it can't. The light hurts it." But I was wrong. The creature had been sealed in darkness for 127 years. It had learned patience, it had learned to wait, and it had learned to hunt. It didn't come straight at us. Instead, it moved to the side, keeping to the darkness at the edge of our light perimeter. Testing, looking for weaknesses, looking for dark spaces. "It's circling," Park observed, "looking for a way around the lights. Maintain coverage. Don't let any dark spaces develop. If it finds shadow, it'll use it." We adjusted our lights, tried to maintain complete illumination. But we had 50 yards of perimeter to cover and only 9 people, 2 of them injured. We couldn't cover everything. The creature found the gap, a section where 2 light beams didn't quite overlap, a shadow maybe 10 feet across. It moved through that shadow faster than we could track. One moment it was at the mine entrance, the next it was 30 yards closer, still in darkness, still beyond our defenses. "Fall back," Martinez ordered. "Tighten the perimeter. Don't give it any more shadow to use." We pulled back, condensed our defensive line, made the light barrier smaller but more complete. The creature was maybe 20 yards from us now, just outside our lights, moving back and forth in the darkness, testing, probing. Then it did something that showed just how intelligent it was. It picked up a rock, a large rock, maybe 20 pounds, and it threw it, not at us, at our lights. The rock hit one of the portable floods, shattered it, created a 10-foot gap in our light barrier, and the creature came through that gap like death itself. Brooks was closest, never had a chance. The creature hit her at full speed, claws flashing. Brooks went down. The creature was on her for maybe 3 seconds. Then it was gone, back into the darkness. Brooks wasn't moving. "Brooks!" Rodriguez ran toward her. Stupid, brave, but stupid. The creature was waiting. It came out of the darkness again, grabbed Rodriguez, pulled him into the shadows beyond our lights. We heard him scream, heard gunfire, heard the creature's shriek. Then silence. 7 of us left. "Everyone back to the trucks," I shouted. "We can't defend this perimeter." We ran. Grant and I helped Wallace. Chen and Miller moved as fast as Miller's injured leg allowed. Martinez and Park laid down covering fire, shooting into the darkness, hoping to hit the creature, hoping to slow it down. We reached the trucks, formed up with the vehicles at our backs, used the truck's headlights to create a wall of light facing the mine. This was more defensible, smaller perimeter, better light coverage. The creature stood at the edge of the light, 50 feet away, close enough to see clearly now. It was maybe 6.5 feet tall, humanoid but elongated, arms too long, reaching almost to its knees, legs digitigrade, walking on its toes like an animal. The skin was pale, almost translucent. We could see blood vessels beneath, could see the skeletal structure. And the face. God, the face. Smooth where eyes should be, just pale skin over the eye sockets. But it was clear the creature could sense us, could track us. Maybe by sound, maybe by heat, maybe by something we couldn't understand. It had evolved, adapted, become perfectly designed for its environment. For darkness, for stone tunnels, for hunting prey that couldn't see it coming. "Why isn't it attacking?" Park whispered. "The lights are too bright here," Chen said. "The truck headlights are stronger than our portable floods. It's hurting the creature more. Look at its skin." She was right. Where the light hit the creature's pale flesh, we could see blistering, like extreme sunburn. The creature was in pain, but it wasn't leaving. It wanted out of that mine more than it feared the light. We stood like that for maybe 20 minutes. Standoff. The creature at the edge of our lights. Us behind the trucks, waiting. Then we heard the helicopter. Distant, getting closer. The medical evacuation Martinez had called for, coming to extract our wounded. The creature heard it too. That eyeless face turned toward the sound. Toward the sky. Toward something it had never encountered. Something from a world it had been sealed away from for over a century. The helicopter came in low, searchlight sweeping, looking for a landing zone. The rotor wash created dust clouds, created chaos, created shadows, and the creature used those shadows. It moved during the helicopter's approach, used the distracted moment. The dust, the confusion. It came at us from the side, impossibly fast. Grant saw it first, fired, hit it. The creature staggered but didn't stop. It grabbed Park, just grabbed her and ran. Back toward the mine, back into the darkness. Park was screaming, shooting, fighting. But the creature was faster, stronger. It disappeared into the mine entrance with her. We heard her screams echo from inside. Then silence. 6 of us left. The helicopter landed. Medics jumped out, saw the carnage, saw Brooks' body, saw Rodriguez's body in the darkness beyond our lights. "What the hell happened here?" the pilot demanded. "Get the wounded aboard," Martinez ordered. "Wallace and Miller, move!" We loaded Wallace and Miller into the helicopter. Both injured. Both lucky to be alive. Both getting out before the creature came back. "You're leaving?" Grant asked, disbelief in his voice. "You're just abandoning us?" "The helicopter can't hold all of us," Martinez explained. "And we need to maintain the perimeter. Need to keep that thing contained until the military support arrives. Chen, Grant, you're going with them." "No," Chen said. "I'm staying. This is my fault. I'm the one who said we should explore that side chamber. I'm the one who found the skeleton. I need to finish this." "Chen, I'm staying, Sergeant." Grant nodded. "Me too. That thing killed half our team. I'm not leaving until it's dead or we are." The helicopter lifted off, took Wallace and Miller to safety, left 4 of us. Me, Martinez, Chen, and Grant. 4 soldiers against a creature that had been killing humans for over a century. We watched the helicopter's lights disappear into the distance, heard the sound fade, and then we were alone. Just us and the darkness and the mine entrance where something ancient and terrible waited. "It's going to come back," I said. "It knows we're weakened. It's tasted blood. It's not going to stop until it escapes or we're all dead." "Then we don't give it the chance," Martinez replied. She was checking her ammunition, making sure her weapon was ready. "We take the fight to it. We go back into the mine. We hunt it in its own territory. We kill it before it can escape. That's suicide, Grant said. It has every advantage in there. Darkness, knowledge of the terrain, enhanced senses. We'd be walking into a death trap. We're already in a death trap, Chen pointed out. Out here, we're just delaying the inevitable. Every hour we wait, the creature gets bolder, gets hungrier. Eventually, our lights will fail, our ammunition will run out, and it will pick us off one by one. She was right. We couldn't maintain this defensive position indefinitely. We had maybe 6 hours of light left, maybe 8 if we conserved batteries. Then we'd be in darkness with a predator that had been perfected by 127 years of living in absolute black. We need to seal the mine, I said. That's the only permanent solution. We need to trap it inside like they did in 1896. Brick it up. Concrete. Whatever it takes, make sure it never gets out. With what equipment? Grant demanded. We don't have the materials, don't have the time. The creature won't just let us wall it in. It'll attack while we're working. Then we call for support. We explain the situation. We get them to send construction equipment, military engineers, whatever it takes to seal that entrance permanently. Martinez was already on the satellite phone, calling command, explaining again what we were facing, requesting engineering support, requesting containment protocols. I could hear the resistance on the other end, the disbelief, the assumption that we were experiencing some kind of mass hallucination. But Martinez was persistent. She described the bodies, described the creature, described the threat. Finally, they're sending a team, engineers. Heavy equipment, ETA 4 hours. They're treating this as a potential biological hazard containment operation. Hazmat protocols. The works. 4 hours. We had to hold for 4 hours. Keep the creature contained. Keep it from escaping into the forest, into the network of mines and caves that would make it impossible to ever find. 4 hours with 4 soldiers and failing lights and a creature that had been killing humans since before our grandparents were born. We can do this, I said. Not sure if I believed it, but needing to say it. We hold this position, we maintain the light barrier, we wait for support, and we make sure that thing doesn't get out. The creature appeared at the mine entrance again, standing in the darkness. That eyeless face pointed at us, and I swear, even without eyes, I could feel it watching us, studying us, planning its next move. 4 hours until support arrived. It was going to be the longest 4 hours of our lives. The first hour was the longest. 4 of us standing in the cold October night, watching the mine entrance, watching for movement in the darkness beyond our lights, waiting for the creature to make its move. It was learning. That was the terrifying part. The creature had been sealed in darkness for 127 years. It had been alone, unchanging, static, but now, in just 24 hours of interaction with us, it was adapting its behavior, learning our patterns, testing our defenses, getting smarter. It's not just an animal, Chen said quietly. She was monitoring the mine entrance through night vision goggles. Animals are predictable. They follow instinct. This thing is thinking, planning. It's showing problem-solving behavior that shouldn't be possible for something that's been isolated this long. Maybe it wasn't always isolated, I suggested. Maybe before 1896 it had interactions with humans. Maybe it's been hunting people for a lot longer than we know. The 1896 miners just happened to break through into its territory. Martinez was on the satellite phone again, getting updates from the engineering team. They're 30 minutes out. Mobile concrete mixer, construction equipment, military escort. They're taking this seriously now that they've reviewed the medical reports from Wallace and Miller. The injuries don't match any known animal attack patterns. What are they saying the injuries match? Grant asked. They're not saying, but the implication is they're consistent with human hands, or something very close to human hands, just stronger, faster, more aggressive. 30 minutes, half an hour. We could last 30 minutes, we had to. The creature made its move at hour 2. It didn't come straight at us this time. Instead, we heard sounds from deeper in the mine. Movement, multiple points of sound, like it was in several places at once. Is there more than one? Grant asked. The question we'd all been avoiding. The skeleton Chen found, I said. The non-human one. It wasn't alone. There might be more. Maybe this isn't a singular creature. Maybe it's a species. A population that's been living in these mountains for generations. Or maybe it's the last one, Chen replied. The last survivor of something that used to be widespread. Trapped in this mine since 1896. Alone. Desperate to escape before it dies. The sounds got louder, closer. Not just scratching now, impact sounds, like the creature was hitting the walls, weakening the structure, looking for another way out. It's trying to collapse the tunnel, Martinez realized, trying to create an alternate exit if it brings down a section of wall that opens to the surface. An explosion of sound from the north side of the mine, rock falling, timbers cracking. A whole section of the mine wall collapsed outward, and through the dust and debris, the creature emerged, not at the main entrance where we were watching, at a weak point in the structure, a place where 127 years of water damage and neglect had made the walls thin. The creature had found it, had broken through. It was outside now, free, between us and the forest. "Light it up," I ordered. We swung our flashlights toward the creature, caught it in our beams. It shrieked, that terrible sound that was almost human but wrong. It raised those elongated arms to shield its eyeless face from the light. But it didn't retreat, didn't run back into the mine. It had tasted freedom, had gotten outside the mine for the first time in over a century, and it wasn't going back. Grant moved forward, weapon raised, firing. Hit the creature multiple times, center mass, shots that should have dropped anything living. The creature staggered, fell. For a moment, I thought we'd killed it. Then it got back up. "How is it still moving?" Martinez demanded. "We hit it, multiple times. I saw the impacts." "It's adapted," Chen said. "Look at its body structure. The skeletal system is different. Lighter bones, more cartilage, different organ placement maybe. Our shots are hitting it but not hitting anything vital." The creature started moving toward the forest, toward the darkness under the trees where our lights couldn't reach, toward freedom. "We can't let it escape." I ran after it, stupid, brave, but stupid. The creature spun. Faster than anything should move. Those claws swept out, caught me across the chest, sent me flying. I hit the ground hard, felt ribs crack, tasted blood. Grant was there immediately, helping me up. "Sergeant, fall back. You can't fight it alone." But the creature wasn't focused on me anymore. It was looking at the forest, at escape, at the thousands of square miles of Appalachian wilderness where it could disappear forever. And then we heard the engines. Heavy vehicles, coming fast up the dirt road. The engineering team. 30 minutes had passed. Support had arrived. 3 trucks, military 5 tons. With them, a mobile concrete mixer and 20 soldiers, armed, equipped, ready. The creature heard them too. That eyeless face turned toward the sound. Toward the threat. Toward the humans who were coming to seal its prison. It made a decision, and it charged. Not at us. at the engineering convoy, at the vehicles that represented its permanent imprisonment, at the concrete that would seal it in darkness forever. "Stop it!" Martinez was shouting into the radio. "It's heading your way. Armed and extremely dangerous. Do not exit vehicles." But the convoy hadn't seen combat. They were engineers, support personnel. They didn't understand what they were facing. The lead truck stopped. Soldiers jumped out, saw the creature running at them in the darkness, and they froze. For just a moment. One critical moment. The creature hit them. 3 soldiers down in seconds. The rest scrambled back into the vehicles, closed the doors. The creature was on the truck, clawing at the metal, trying to get inside, trying to stop the cement that would seal its tomb. "We need to drive it back." Grant was already moving, running toward the convoy, toward the creature, weapon firing, light blazing, trying to draw its attention. The creature turned, dropped from the truck, faced Grant, that eyeless face tracking him, those claws extending. "Grant, fall back!" I shouted. He didn't fall back. He advanced, kept firing, kept his light aimed directly at the creature's face, driving it backward, away from the convoy, toward the mine entrance. The creature struck out, fast, impossibly fast. Grant went down. But he'd bought us time. The convoy soldiers recovered, regrouped. 20 armed military personnel formed a perimeter. Lights and weapons trained on the creature. Overwhelming force. The creature was surrounded, trapped between the forest and the mine, between armed soldiers and the concrete that would seal it forever. It looked around, that eyeless face turning, assessing, calculating. Then it made its choice. It ran, back toward the mine, back into the darkness that had been its prison for 127 years, back into the depths where it had evolved and adapted and survived. "Seal it," Martinez ordered. "Now, before it changes its mind." The engineering team moved fast. Professional, efficient. They'd brought forms, rebar, quick-setting concrete. Within minutes, they'd set up a framework across the mine entrance. Started pouring. The creature appeared in the darkness behind the forming, watching, that eyeless face pressed against the rebar, claws reaching through the gaps, trying to stop us, trying to escape. But we kept pouring, kept building, layer after layer of concrete, creating a wall 8 feet thick, reinforced with steel, designed to last for centuries, designed to make sure nothing inside ever got out. The creature's claws scraped against the wet concrete, left marks, grooves, evidence of its desperation. But the concrete kept coming, kept building, kept sealing, until finally the wall was complete, solid, impenetrable, and the creature was trapped behind it, sealed in darkness once again, just like 1896, just like it had been for over a century, except this time we used modern materials, modern engineering, made sure the seal would hold, made sure nothing could claw through, made sure that whatever was in that mine would stay in that mine forever. I found Grant near the convoy. Chen was with him, applying pressure to the wounds, but I could see it was too late. The creature's claws had gone deep. Arterial damage. Blood loss too severe. Did we get it?" Grant asked, voice weak, fading. "Yeah," I told him. "We got it. It's sealed. You drove it back into the mine. You saved the convoy. You saved us all." Grant smiled. "Good. That's good." He looked at me. "Don't let it out again, whatever happens. Promise me." "I promise." He died 2 minutes later. The 6th member of our team to die in that mine. 6 soldiers killed by something that shouldn't exist. Something from a time before science. before understanding. Something that had been sealed away in 1896 and should have stayed sealed. We stayed on site for 3 days while the concrete cured, while engineers monitored the seal, while military investigators tried to piece together what happened, while everyone who'd been there tried to process what we'd seen. They sent a probe down through a vent shaft, cameras and sensors, mapping the mine interior, looking for the creature. They found it at the deepest point, at the bottom of the vertical shaft where the 1896 miners had first encountered it, back in its territory, back in the darkness. The creature was alive, moving, circling in the depths, trapped again. The official report called it an unidentified biological entity. Didn't specify species, didn't try to explain what it was or where it came from, just noted its existence, its danger, its containment. The mine was classified as a permanent exclusion zone, guarded, monitored, marked with warnings that were deliberately vague. Geological hazard, structural instability, government property, no trespassing. Nothing about the creature. Nothing about what had killed 6 soldiers. Nothing about why an abandoned mine had suddenly become one of the most secure locations in West Virginia. Martinez and Chen and I were debriefed separately, extensively, made to sign non-disclosure agreements, warned that discussing what we'd seen would result in prosecution, told that the incident was classified and would remain classified indefinitely. We were given medals, commendations, promotions, everything the military gives people when they want to acknowledge sacrifice without explaining what the sacrifice was for. Martinez stayed in the National Guard, got assigned to a desk job, analysis, planning. They never sent her into the field again. Chen left the military entirely, went back to school, became a geologist, studies mine systems and underground environments, looking for evidence that other places might harbor similar creatures, looking for other mines that should stay sealed. And me, I moved to surface rescue operations, high angle, mountain rescue, anything that keeps me above ground, anything that keeps me away from darkness and confined spaces and the memory of eyeless faces and claws and friends dying in tunnels. But I still hear it sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet. I hear scratching, faint, distant, like something is trying to get out. I know it's not real. I'm 200 miles from that mine. The creature can't reach me, can't escape. The seal is solid. Engineers check it monthly. It's holding. But the scratching persists, in my mind, in my nightmares. The sound of claws on concrete, on brick, on whatever barrier stands between the creature and freedom. Because here's what nobody wants to admit. We didn't kill it. We just trapped it again. Just bought time. Just kicked the problem down the road for another century or 2. But concrete erodes. Steel corrodes. Eventually, given enough time, every seal fails. Every barrier breaks down. And when this one does, when some future generation decides to explore that abandoned mine in West Virginia, when they break through our seal like we broke through the 1896 seal, that creature will still be there. Still alive, still hungry, still desperate to escape, still adapted to darkness and hunting and killing humans who stumble into its territory. We sealed it in October 2023. By my calculations, the seal should hold until approximately 2150, maybe longer if they maintain it, maybe shorter if they don't. 127 years from now, give or take. Some future soldiers or miners or explorers will find that mine. We'll see the warnings, we'll ignore them, we'll break through the concrete, and the creature will be waiting, just like it waited for us. Just like it waited for the 1896 miners. Just like it's probably been waiting for thousands of years. Killing anyone who gets too deep. who digs too far, who disturbs the darkness where ancient things live. We found records after the sealing, old records, archaeological evidence. That mine wasn't the first time humans encountered that creature. There were stories, Cherokee legends about the Pale One in the deep earth, early settler accounts of the Mine Devil, whispered tales passed down through generations of Appalachian coal miners about the thing that walks in the dark. The 1896 miners encountered it. We encountered it, and someday someone else will encounter it, because we can't kill it, can't destroy it, can only trap it, can only seal it away and hope the seal holds. That mine is still there. The concrete wall is still standing. Behind it, in the darkness, the creature waits. 8 feet of reinforced concrete between it and the surface world, between it and freedom. And every day, I imagine it's still there, still scratching, still clawing, still trying to break through. Adding to the claw marks on the inside of the seal, the marks we saw in 1896. The marks we're creating now for 2150. If you're ever near Thurmond, West Virginia, you'll see an old mine entrance, sealed with concrete, marked with vague warnings, guarded occasionally by personnel who won't answer questions. Don't try to open it. Don't try to explore it. Don't think you can do what we couldn't and put that creature down permanently. Because it's not just a creature. It's a survivor. It's evolution gone wrong. It's proof that some things in this world have been here longer than us, and will be here longer than us. Living in the dark places, in the deep earth, where humans shouldn't go. 6 of my soldiers died learning that lesson. Davis, Santos, Thompson, Brooks, Rodriguez, Park, Grant. Good people, professional soldiers. Dead because we broke a seal that should have stayed unbroken. Don't make the same mistake. Don't assume old warnings are just superstition. Don't think that century-old seals are there for outdated reasons. Some things stay buried for good reasons. Some places stay sealed because of what's inside them. Some darkness should never see light. That creature is still in that mine, still alive, still waiting. And I hear it scratching. Every night. Every time I close my eyes. The seal is holding. For now. The engineers promise it'll hold for another century. But 127 years from now, when that concrete finally fails, when that seal finally breaks, someone else will be standing where I stood, fighting what I fought, learning what I learned. And 6 more people will die before they trap it again. Unless you're the one who decides to break that seal. Unless you're the one who thinks you're smarter than history. Unless you're the one who opens that mine. Then you'll be the first to die, and the creature will be free. And West Virginia will learn again why some mines stay sealed, why some places are forbidden, why some warnings should be heeded. The creature is waiting. It's patient. It has time. It has all the time in the world. Because time means nothing in absolute darkness, in the deep earth, in the places where ancient things sleep. And one day, maybe not in my lifetime, but someday, someone will open that seal, and the creature will emerge, and the cycle will begin again. Don't let it be you.